Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are unpacking something absolutely massive. It's a dual front revolution happening right now in the world of generative AI. You see, we're watching a complete transformation in how massive enterprises operate internally, while at the exact same time, there's a fundamental shift in how brands get discovered externally on the web. It's literally changing everything. It's a fascinating time to be in business, and we're going to break down exactly how you can navigate the whole shebang. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover Welcome to the Reasoning Economy, then Inside AI, AstraZeneca's Enterprise Blueprint, followed by the ROI of Human Augmentation. After that, we'll look at Outside AI, the Geo-Revolution, jump into Tactics for AI-driven visibility, and finally wrap up with the Era of Machine Customers. All right, Part 1. Welcome to the Reasoning Economy. Let's start with the foundational shift that's currently rewriting the rules of the internet as we know it. We are leaving an old era behind and stepping into something totally new. For decades, we lived in what you'd call the retrieval economy. You know the drill. You type in a query and the search engine retrieves 10 blue links. The cognitive load was entirely on us, the users. We had to click those links, read through conflicting articles, and basically piece together an answer ourselves. Well, now we're entering the reasoning economy. In this new model, AI understands your intent and takes that cognitive load completely off your plate. It does the reading, it does the synthesizing, and it outputs a singular, authoritative answer. It's doing the thinking for you. And the impact of this shift is just staggering. Nearly 60% of searches in 2025 are ending without a single click to an external website. Think about that. People are getting their answers directly from the AI interface, completely bypassing the source websites. In fact, Gartner predicts that traditional search engine volume is going to drop by an incredible 25% by 2026. The users haven't gone anywhere. They're just getting their answers synthesized for them before they ever need to click. Moving on to Part 2. Inside AI, AstraZeneca's Enterprise Blueprint. So how do massive businesses actually adapt to this reasoning economy behind closed doors? The reactions across different industries have been day and night. When ChatGPT first launched, there was this intense fear of IP leakage and data privacy breaches, especially in highly regulated industries. Because of that, roughly 65% of the top 20 pharma firms initially had just banned ChatGPT outright. No way, absolutely not. But then you have AstraZeneca. This $54 billion biopharma giant took a completely different path. They actually embraced it. But they did it through controlled enablement, using enterprise-grade tools with end-to-end AES-256 encryption and a very strict no-training policy. That means their proprietary, highly sensitive data is never ever used to train external public AI models. So the crucial point is, how did they actually roll this out without causing total chaos? Well, it was a very deliberate, phased approach. Step 1 was strategic alignment. They didn't just throw AI at the wall to see what would stick. They specifically targeted R&D bottlenecks to speed up drug discovery. Step 2 was building a rock-solid, secure infrastructure using Azure OpenAI to keep all their data safely walled off. And Step 3, which honestly is the hardest part, was driving a massive cultural shift to ensure company-wide buy-in before they tried to scale anything. And if you want to understand the sheer scale of that cultural shift, just look at this number, 12,000. That is the number of AstraZeneca employees. We're talking everyone from R&D scientists to marketing staff who were upskilled in generative AI through tiered certification programs. They realized right away that if you want to democratize AI, you have to close the opportunity gap through education. They turned fear into pure empowerment. All right, let's head into Part 3, the ROI of human augmentation. Now, in any big enterprise, training and infrastructure are great, but they only really matter if they produce concrete results, right? So let's look at the actual efficiency gains from all this internal AI adoption. AI assistants are tangibly accelerating clinical workflows. Take radiology, for example. They deployed an AI radiomics platform to annotate 3D CT scans, which drastically cut down the manual time required by highly paid experts. Over in R&D, they introduced an intelligent protocol assistant to draft study documents. And the result? Around 80% of medical writers found the AI's very first draft genuinely useful. Just imagine how much repetitive grunt work that eliminates for top-tier experts. That is the true ROI you want to look for. There's a quote from the source material that I absolutely love because it just perfectly captures their entire philosophy. AstraZeneca frames AI strictly as an assistant that requires human-in-the-loop validation. It is not, I repeat, not a replacement for expert judgment. The AI provides the first draft, but the human provides the critical oversight. It's meant to amplify human productivity, not supplant it.
Let's move to and see how this builds into part 4, Outside AI, the Geo Revolution.
So, we've just seen how a massive company masters AI internally. Now let's flip the script and look externally. How do brands survive when their customers are using AI to try and find them? To figure that out, we have to completely shift our mindset from SEO to geo, generative engine optimization. Traditional SEO was all about convincing a rigid deterministic algorithm to rank a link on a page. Geo is totally different. It's the science of convincing a probabilistic large language model that your content is the absolute most trustworthy source of facts. You aren't optimizing for clicks anymore, you're optimizing to be cited by the machine itself. But here's the catch. To get cited, you have to cross what we call the trust moat, which brings us to a very critical number, 32,000. Recent studies reveal that AI models are incredibly risk-averse. They are terrified of being wrong, so they rely on massive link graphs as a proxy for the truth. Sites with over 32,000 referring domains are about 3.5 times more likely to be cited by ChatGPT than their lower authority competitors. It's like a giant popularity contest, but for trust. But it's not just about raw domain authority. AI engines are actively hunting for very specific verification signals, and the multiplier effects here are wild. A Princeton study found that utilizing fact density, meaning you use concrete, hard statistics rather than vague, fluffy claims, actually boosts AI visibility by up to 40%. The models are also scraping for third-party consensus. High mention volumes on community platforms like Reddit and Quora, that yields a 4x increase in citations. And finally, there seems to be this invisible trust floor of around 190,000 monthly visitors before your citation probability really starts to jump. That brings us to part 5, tactics for AI-driven visibility. Knowing the data is one thing, but how do we actually execute on this? Well, here is your actionable playbook for surviving the reasoning economy. To make sure your content is a perfect fit for AI crawlers, you need to implement 4 tactical interventions. First up, the bluff structure, bottom line up front. Start your sections with direct 40 to 60 word answer blocks that models can easily chunk and digest. Second, adopt a wiki voice. Use objective, straightforward, declarative sentences to lower the AI's uncertainty, or what developers call perplexity. Third, leverage schema markup. Think of it as a direct API language between your site and the AI. And fourth, prioritize review syndication. And this brilliantly illustrates why that fourth step, review syndication, is so vital right now. Ben Salomon at Yotpo hit the nail on the head when he said that in an era of AI hallucinations and deepfakes, verification is the new currency. Authentic, syndicated customer reviews are the ultimate trust signal. And AI is looking for distributed, third-party proof that a product actually exists and does what it says before it will ever risk recommending it to a user. Now, trying to manage all these visibility gaps manually across thousands of pages, that's practically impossible at scale. That's why modern tools are stepping in. For instance, Yotpo Discover utilizes 3 autonomous agents to basically translate prompt-level tracking into action. They have an on-site agent that autonomously repairs technical code and schemas, a content agent that scales out factual review-backed articles, and an activation agent that actually mobilizes real reviewers on the exact third-party forums the AI is out there scraping for consensus. It's literally AI optimizing for AI. And finally, part 6. The era of machine customers. As we look a bit further over the horizon, we have to grasp the ultimate evolution of this technology. We are moving way beyond just AI search engines. Just think about this question for a second. What happens when AI agents start doing the buying? Forrester recently put out a pretty wild prediction. They estimate that by 2028, a significant percentage of B2B purchasing will be intermediated by autonomous AI agents. These machine customers will intuitively research vendors, request pricing via API, and even negotiate terms, all without a single human getting involved. But optimizing for these machine customers requires a massive architectural shift. Think about it. Human buyers care about beautiful design, compelling imagery, and persuasive psychology. Machine customers, they literally could not care less about your CSS. They need structured data, API availability, frictionless pricing logic, and dedicated text directories like LOMs.txt files. To a human, a request demo form is the next step. To an AI agent, a request demo form is a brick wall. Transparent, machine-readable logic is the open door.
Which leads us to a highly provocative thought to leave you with today. We've seen how companies absolutely have to adapt their internal operations, and we've seen how they must adapt their external web presence to survive. But it really all boils down to this. In an economy where AI generates the answers and autonomous agents make the purchases, is your business computationally legible enough to even exist? Seriously, take that question back to your teams this week. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.